evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. He may already be facing trial in The Hague, but legal troubles continue to pile up for former President Rodrigo Duterte. On Tuesday, former Senator Antonio Trillanes filed a plunder complaint against him and Senator Bong over billions of pesos worth of government contracts awarded to the lawmaker's family. Trillanes claims Duterte knowingly and deliberately connived with Go in the supposed scheme as a reward for his loyalty. How is the Duterte camp responding to these allegations? Let's get on point with his former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel, Attorney Salvador Panelo. Attorney Panelo, good to see you again. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for your time. Let's start with that. The plunder complaint filed by Senator Antonio Trillanes against former President Rodrigo Duterte and Senator Bong. Of course, the meat of the issue, basically, ang sinasabi po is that Go used his position along with the former president basically to corner contracts for the family of Senator Bongo. What are your thoughts on that?
Don't even understand at pinapatulan niyo si Trillanes. He has been lying. All the accusations that he has thrown against the Dutertes, hindi naman niya naprubahan, di ba? Remember when he was running for president?
Sa BPI.
I lawyered for the former president at the time. He was a BPI. Sabi niya, 315 million ba yun? Yung pala, 16,000 lang ang ano. Tapos, he has, I forgot the name of the lawyer who died. Si attorney something. Anyway, di ba, nagpunta siya sa Hague, siya nag-file ng complaint. And then later, before he died, sabi niya, politika lang pala, ginamit lang ako. Marami siyang, lahat ng mga kasinungalingan, ipinilalabas niya. To make himself politically relevant. But, ang problema, mga kasama sa media, pinapatulan siya.
Well, he filed a plunder complaint. Obviously, that's something that needed to be covered. So, ito po, pag tinatanong po si Senator Trillanes, ano yung reason for this, ano yung justification would be, again, as mentioned, sabi ko, the meat of it is that 7 billion pesos worth of contracts cornered by the family of Senator Bongo through his father and I believe his half-brother po niya yun. At hindi makukuha yon according to Senator Trillanes, kung hindi inaprubahan ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte bilang reward nga kay Senator Bongo for his loyalty. I'll quote something in page 31, sir. Respondent Duterte, who is a lawyer and public prosecutor, consciously, knowingly, and deliberately connived with him and or indulged him in this illicit scheme as a reward for respondent Go's blind loyalty.
Well, it's very easy to make allegations, but it's so difficult to prove that. In the first place, yung family ni Senator Go, matagal na siyang contractor eh. Kung baga, walang pakialam si Senator Bongo. Besides, knowing Bongo, kasi we've been together for so many years sa Malacanang, di ba? Ayaw niya makialam. Hindi nga makalapit sa kanya yung kapatid niya o yung tatay niya. Palagi siyang, bahala kayo. Wala ako dyan.
How were they able then to corner 7 billion pesos worth of contracts as alleged by Senator Trillanes?
Siguro maganda ang record nila. May bidding naman yan eh. There is a process for that. Kung maganda yung kanilang bid, sila ang pinakamagandang offer. Bakit naman hindi sila kukunin ng gobyerno? Ang importante niyan, yung bang mga projects okay o hindi? Substandard ba o hindi?
Guni-guni o hindi? Okay.
Yun ang issue dyan eh. Pero kung okay, bakit naman?
Does it even leave, let's say, attorney, bad taste in the mouth, for example, na ang iyong tatay at ang iyong kapatid ay nakakorner ng milyon-milyon o bilyon, as alleged by Senator Trillanes, habang ikaw ay SAP, Special Assistant to the President Duterte back in 2016, and as a senator in 2019. Yun po, at least let's talk about
But
that
if the
part.
father and son have been engaged in that kind of job, even before you were a senator or a cabinet member, why should you now blame him for that? Anong kasalanan naman itong isa? Hindi nga siya nakikialam eh. Di ba? As I say, I will repeat, what is important is, yung mga projects na pinasukan nila, matino o hindi? Nakuha ba nila yan through bidding process? Kasi si Presidente Duterte, hindi naman siya it's not the President who approves bidding projects. There is a process for that. And the President is out of the loop.
Do you think meron pong kahihinatnan itong complaint na to by Senator Trillanes?
Pareho ng mga complaint na pinalya na wala nangyari.
It begs the question though, Attorney, no? I recall si then Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero filed a bill na ipagbabawal hanggang fourth degree consanguinity any relatives or family members in participating in government projects for the obvious reason that there could be influence, that gagamitin dito, etc. Is there anything, sir, number one, importante ho bang i-define ito, na bawal ang pamilya mo bilang lawmaker na sumali sa mga government contracts, or is there already an existing law that says this is a violation?
Hindi po, meron under sa anti-graft, meron ganyan eh. So, pero kasi sa akin, ang palaging tinitingnan ko dyan, yung bidding process ba sinunod? Nung makuha niya ba yung project, okay ba ang proyekto? Walang daya. Yan ang importante sa lahat eh.
There was one thought process there, following your line of thought process, sir. Kasi kung ganun po yun, kung papayagan na lang natin na true enough, there's a construction company, tatay mo ang may-ari, senador ka. Senator Bongo, let's use him as an example. Tatay po niya yung may construction company. Di bawat siguro mambabatas, mayor, vice mayor, congressman, senator, ipapasok na po yung kanilang pamilya, this is an example, sa construction company because there is somehow that connotation and that belief, and possibly it is true, na nakaka-influence yung mambabatas para ma-corner mo yung kontratang yon. As proven now, sir. Bid rigging. Alam na po natin yan. Lumabas na po yan sa Senado at sa House, nagkakaroon ng bid rigging. So nagkakaroon, sa bidding pa lang, nagkakaproblema na eh. So, paano ho yun? Hindi ba mali na may kapamilya ka na nasa construction industry
Siguro
and involved in government projects?
Tama ka siguro dyan. Kung yung kapamilya mo pumasok after you become a senator. Pero kung dati na lang ginagawa yan, parang tumaymay, parang naman unfair, unjust ang gagawin mo. Bakit mo tatanggalin naman ang karapatan nila magnegosyo?
Kasi naging choice mo tumakbo eh. Paano pag gano'n ang maging argumento?
Choice? Bakit nga, why should you now deprive your family of continuing with the business that they have been doing even prior to your becoming a public servant? Pero kung naging senador ka, naging cabinet member ka, saka mo pinapasok, may problema ka noon. Kasi yung perception, bakit ngayon lang yan? Kung dati na, at wala ka namang record na masama, di ba okay?
Would you support, given a chance, do you think it is right to pass this bill prohibiting rather relatives and family members until the fourth degree of consanguinity?
Okay sa akin yun. But, kailangan may exception to the rule. Kung dati naman yan nagtatrabaho at walang record, dapat huwag mo isama. Parang unfair. Because you deprive your family of the opportunities they have been taking advantage of when you were still not in the government.
I remember that in one of the interviews of Senator Trillanes, I think it might be in this show, I wasn't here yesterday, sir, or in other interviews yesterday, ang sinabi nga niya, we're so big on the flood control scandal, hinahanap natin yung mga kontratista, yung mga proponent, at sabi niya, ito, nandito na sa harap nyo. Si Senator Bongo, kapamilya yung mga contractor at na-corner yung ganito kadaming kontrata to the tune of 7 billion. Sabi niya, ang sinabi niya, hindi ba prima facie evidence na yan?
Tingin ko, pinagtatakpan niya yung flood control projects at gusto niya i-focus dito sa mga kalaban. sa kalaban niya. Yan ang nakikita ko niya. Kasi kung totoo yan, bakit di niya nilabas noon pa yan? At the time of Duterte was president, ang media sa kanya, antindi, di ba? Pero wala akong narinig na inilabas na binurgan, whether Rappler yan o kung ano pang media outlet, tungkol sa mga anomaliyang ganyan. Hindi lumabas yan.
There
Wala.
were two issues about that, I recall. Number one was, I think he did file before the DOJ. That's one that I recall. Tapos either dinala sa Office of the Ombudsman, pero dinismiss ata. Or the other one, sir, was, I remember recently he was saying also that he had the goods, but he refused to file it with the Office of the Ombudsman because Ombudsman, according to him, martires will protect the Dutertes. So may sagot ho siya doon.
Kaya niya pinahal ngayon dahil si Boying kontra sa mga Duterte. Kalokohan niya.
Alright. Yung prima facie, dahil kayo po ay abogado.
Unang-una, hindi naman siya ang magbibigay ng determination ng probable cause. It will be the prosecutors.
Okay.
Kakaroon pa ng preliminary investigation.
What is the process by which we can expect from the Office of the Ombudsman, sir, after filing this complaint against the former President and Senator
Hindi
Bong?
bang yan, nag-iimbestiga siya. Hanapan niya kung merong prima facie or probable cause. But knowing Boying, hindi ako magtataka kung biglang may probable cause.
Alright, SALN. Pag-usapan po natin yung SALN. Do you think that maybe Senator Bongo making his SALN available, yung siya na mismo magkusa ipakita yung SALN niya, would you think that would help him one way or another? Kasi di ba sa batas meron yung mga lawmakers should not directly or indirectly gain from any interests of their family members, etc. Palagay niyo ho ba, importante kay Senator Bongo na ilabas ang kanyang SALN for transparency?
Palagay ko, just like Robin Padilla, ibibigay niya, ipapakita niya. Walang problema palagay ko kay
And would
Senator
that be
Bongo.
a good idea? You think he should do that now?
I think he will do that. You don't have even to suggest to him. Knowing him, malinis yun eh.
The lifting, yung restrictions, sir, sa SALN, yung restrictions ni Ombudsman Samuel Martires.
Ang problema kasi, Pinky, ang tingin ko, sinasabi nila na kailangan ilabas yung SALN para makita yung mga ninakaw. Kung ikaw naman ang public official, di mo naman ilalagay yun dun eh.
I know, that's one thing I also wanted to discuss with you. Binalikan ko po kasi, may binalikan kaming mga former statements that you made. In the past, meron po kayong, you supported Ombudsman Samuel Martires' decision to lay down prohibitions or restrictions.
Restriction lang, pero hindi prohibition. Yun ang sinasabi ko ng spokesperson. He was not prohibiting the release. He was just giving certain conditions before the release. Because nagkaroon siya ng personal na experience na ginamit yung kanyang SALN.
Yeah. So ang sabi niyo po nga to limit the access of SALNs to officers conducting investigations and the receiving party.
Yes.
Tama ho. So now that Ombudsman Boying Remulla has reversed that decision by former Ombudsman Samuel Martires, how will this come to play? Ano nakikita niyong posibleng mga scenario?
Hindi, kung sinong gustong... Pero kahit naman si Boying, sinabi niya rin eh. But you cannot give them absolute right. Kailangan meron ding reason. Why are you getting it? Di ba?
What is the reason for...
Hindi naman absolute yan eh. Siyempre, kung gagamitin mo na masama, di ayaw niya rin.
Okay. So, well, kailangan pa po siya i-publish, hindi ho ba? Sa newspaper of national circulation before anyone can actually really...
Pero kung ako masusunod, kung ako ang masusunod lahat na SALN i-release ka agad, pag-file pa lang.
Huwag nang hingin.
Huwag na.
Madami namang redacted eh. Di ba yung exact address mo
Release
would be
mo,
redacted. Anyway, you chose to be a public servant. Right? So, just release
Pero
the
kasi
SALN.
nga, ang problema is, kaya nila gustong i-release daw dahil para makita yung kayamanan. Pero kung sira ulo mo, magnanakaw ka, hindi mo naman ilalagay yun doon.
So if you were actually saying that the SALNs should actually be released at dapat ilabas nyo na lang, why were you against it before?
No, I was not against it. I was in support of the restriction kasi
Right.
nga may mga incidents na ginamit against. naging threat sa buhay, sa pamilya ng mga
And what
nag-file.
changed now? Kasi sabi niyo, you supported the restrictions that Ombudsman Samuel Martires had
Yung
put
restriction
forward.
lang. Kasi-
Yan nga. Pero ngayon sabi mo, kung ako, ilalabas ko na lang lahat
Ay
yan.
kung ako hindi naman ako siya at the time Saka isa pa, kaya ako pabor doon. Si Presidente Duterte was not against. Sabi niya, di kunin nyo. Di ba? Well, hindi naman niya sabi, ayoko. I already filed it. You get it from them. Kaya sinuportahan ko siya. Hindi naman ako si Presidente Duterte ang ayaw. Nagbigay lang ng restriction. Hindi naman masama rin yung restriction. Kasi kung legitimate naman ang purpose mo, ibibigay sa'yo.
All right,
At binigay naman.
we'll take a very short break. We'll continue our discussion with former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo. When we return, stay tuned. This is On Point. Welcome back. Still with us, former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo. I want to talk about the former president. I know you were in The Hague recently, sir, but before that, this flood control scandal, what are your thoughts about that? And what do you think of how it's been proceeding so far? The latest news, sir, is that ite-televise na yung ICI hearings next week, beginning next week.
I've been saying in my show that the president, with due respect to him, cannot escape accountability of this flood control project anomaly. Why? Because sino ba gumawa ng NEP, National Expenditure Program? Sino ng presidente, yung Department of Budget and Management. And when they did that, before giving it to Congress, he had to go through with that. Alam niya yan kung ano yung prepare ng budget niya. Pagdating sa Congress, yung mga allies niya ang nag-ayos niya. So kung may binago sila doon, alam niya yon. In fact, alam niya kasi pumunta uli sa kanya when he signed the GAA. O madali sabi, nagkaroon ng corruption because you did not veto itong mga unlawful insertions na ginawa ng small committees. Kaya sabi ko, you cannot be saying na malinis ka dyan because the buck stops with you, as Truman said. Whether you succeed or you fail, sa'yo pa rin yan. Kaya sabi ko, since dalawa lang yan kung bakit nagkaroon ng corruption. Either you allowed it and you're a complicit, or wala kang kaalam-alam, napaglaruan ka ng mga nasa...
And what do you think among the two? Between the two, rather?
Regardless. Pero sabi ko, may solusyon dyan. Since you're the head of state, you're the president, and the primary task of a government of which you head, then you use your constitutional powers. You declare a revolutionary government, you abolish Congress, jail all of them.
That extreme.
Kung hindi ka complicit, wala failing na, di ba? Ang mga tao galit. Alam mo, Pinky, I was at Heritage for 2 nights. Mga alta syudad lang nandun, kasi namatay si Atty. si Susan Oben. So nandun sila lahat. Alam mo, na-shock ako nung I joined the table for 2 nights. Yung mga mayayaman na yun, never mo maririnig ng politika yun. Puro fashion, mga anak nila, apo nila, travel nila. This time, pagpasok ko pa lang, galit na galit sila sa gobyerno.
Talking about
Gusto
what,
nilang
the flood
ipakulong,
control
gusto nilang
scandal?
pabaril, firing squad, galit na galit sila And they will join now this November 30. Talagang ang tao galit. Kaya the president must do something.
You know, there was a recent survey that came out that sabi nga that the people wanted the president to focus more on the rising cost of basic goods, to focus more on inflation rather than the corruption scandal. Bakit
Hindi.
mo?
Maggulo na nga. Bakit ba? Kahit mag-focus ka doon, ito ang magpapabagsak sa'yo. Sigurado yan.
Do you think the ICI is doing a good job?
Kalokohan yun. And you know why? Sabi ko, yung investigation, Mr. President, unnecessary yan. Parang pinantatakip butas mo lang sa accountability mo. Why? Number one, in your SONA, you said, you know all this, there's corruption, bribery, SOP, lahat yan, alam mo na. In fact, you named the 15 contractors. Ibig sabihin, you had already previously investigated this. So, bakit ka pa magpapa-investigan? Hindi gawin mo na lang yung trabaho mo bilang presidente. As I said, under the Constitution, you have extraordinary powers. Use it. Otherwise,
And
kasama ka dyan.
how do you envision this investigation supposed to be done by the president?
Wala nga mangyayari dyan kasi nga, nakita mo naman, hindi nila gusto pang gawing state witness yung supposed to being number one na tinuturo ng lahat ng mga resource persons.
Sino to?
Hindi ba si Martin?
Okay.
Tapos
Vizcaya din kasi,
doon naman sa
issue
kabila,
yan eh.
doon naman sa kabila sa mga investigasyon. Ayaw nilang patawag si Saldico, ayaw patawag si Martin. Na doon, pinagtatakpan lang nila, kaya lalong nagagalit ang tao. Kaya sabi ko, you know, that's the best. You declare a revolutionary government. And there is a constitutional base for that. I disagree with all the lawyers
Which
who say,
is?
you know nga, as head of government, your duty is to serve and to protect. You know, Pinky, the people
But it's
created the
not in the
government.
Constitution that you can call for a revolutionary government. Extraordinary means yun eh.
Yun nga ang constitutional basis mo. Your duty is to serve and to protect. If your government created by the people no longer responds to the needs, when that government is failing to protect them and to serve them, then it is your duty to do something about it. Diba?
But would you say that is your, siguro, feedback, analysis, yung, that the government is failing to serve the public? Because I'm sure if we were to ask Malacanang, sasabihin nila, patuloy naman ang pagbigay serbisyo
Kunyari lang yun.
ng gobyerno sa publiko. All right. Very extreme yung revolution.
Sa panahon ni Senior Marcos, na panahon nangyari na rin kay Cory. In fact, during our time, Pinky, ilang beses ko na sinabi, kumuha ako ng memorandum kay Presidente Duterte, 2 beses na mag-declare ka na ng revolutionary government. Kasi
During the time of
yes,
former
of course.
President Rodrigo
Recorded
Duterte?
yun. Formal memo ko yun. Because when he was running for president, he already assured the public, sabi niya, if I cannot do the things I want to do, because Congress is blocking it, I will abolish Congress, I will declare a revolutionary government. Sabi ko, you committed that, Mr. President, and you're duty-bound, because that is a contract with the electorate. Pero,
Anong sagot niya?
sabi niya, ang problema kasi, sabi niya, sa akin manggagaling, gusto ko manggaling sa kanila. At kunin nila akong leader nila. Kasi kung ako, magdi-declare, sasabihin nila, oh, gusto mo lang mag-perpetuate in power.
Then that would be the same with President Bongbong Marcos. Your suggestion will hold the same for Bongbong Marcos.
Hindi, iba naman kasi ang si Presidente Duterte kasi masyadong sensitive sa gano'n. Itong isa, palagay ko, hindi niya iisipin yun. Ang kailangan niya, survival ng gobyerno. At pati siya. Kaya dapat gawin niya na yun.
All right.
Susuportahan ko siya doon.
Next, just briefly, Zaldico, because kayo po ay abogado, meron ho bang legal way that government can use in order to, number one, find and bring back Zaldico here in the
Cancel
country?
the passport, gano'n, kasimple.
Yun na nga, sir, yun po yung gusto kong malaman sa inyo. Ano ho ba talaga yung legal basis? Because now we are being told, number one, na kailangan manggaling sa korte.
Ano kung magaling sa korte? All they have to do is to file a case. Ba't di sila nagpa-file ng kaso? Kadali-dali lang. Pag nag-file sila ng case, may probable cause, may warrant of arrest,
Done.
tapos.
Pending na wala pa pong kaso at wala pong nag-file ng kaso, wala pa pong warrant of arrest. Is there any other way?
Or kung ako ang Secretary of Foreign Affairs, I will cancel it. They sue me.
But is that under the law? Do you have the jurisdiction to be able to do that?
Pag kinancel ko yun, I will be personally accountable criminally.
parang
O di
sagot mo na
demanda
lang.
mo ako.
Pero meron
Di
ho ba?
magpakulong ako, basta babalik kita rito.
Because I've always wondered about declaring someone as an undesirable alien. Meron ho bang paraan?
Alien, di naman siya alien eh.
Meron ho bang paraan para ang gobyerno makiusap to another government and say, we want this particular person?
Pinky, kaya gusto ko ng revolutionary government. Lahat yun. Walang restriction.
Exempted lahat.
Exempted na. Tapos ka na kaagad.
Attorney Sal, you were in The Hague recently.
Hanggang doon lang ako sa labas ng building ng kulungan. Wala
Of course, you cannot enter. You're not family. You're not a lawyer.
Picture doon.
Was it your first time to
Yes.
go at least
Because
near
he knows.
the former
He
president?
knows that I went there.
Through whom?
Hindi sa anak. Kitty.
I see.
Kaya sila Inday.
Okay. And interim release denied, sir. Meron pang issue on appeal. And the other one is, of course, that the defense had moved for the adjournment of the hearing or the case because he is unfit to stand trial. Attorney Panelo, yun ho bang pag-deny ng interim release kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte?
Kabalbala naman yung mga reasons na binigay nila eh. Number one, sabi nila, the defense was able to prove na may cognitive decline si Presidente. Teka muna, bakit naman ako ang defense mo puprove? Kayo, the former president is under controlled environment. The judges control. Ibig sabihin, sinasabi may access na ba niya? Kayo ang may access, bakit yung akusado ang papagawa niya ng paraan, magbigay sa inyo ng mga examination results? Kayo nandyan eh. Kaya it's your duty to examine whether or not the accused that will be facing trial is fit for trial or hindi. Number two, sabi nila, itong mga anak niya nakikialam ng questioning or jurisdiction, iniiyak. Ang sagot ko naman, teka muna, why are you going to deprive the members of the Dutertes to question your jurisdiction? In the first place, the president is a lawyer. Inday Sara is a lawyer. Alam nila, they know their law. Eh mukhang ang mga judges, they don't know your Rome Statute. Because under the Rome Statute, even the warrant of arrest will have to pass through the local court, which never
In the
did.
Philippines,
Kaya,
area, that's an
tapos
issue.
sasabihin nila, she's mentally fit and physically fit. Jesus Mario Joseph naman. Pinky, kung ako yung judge, titingnan ko lang yung mga video ni Presidente Duterte. Nakita mo halos hindi na nga makalakad eh. Meron siyang nurse 24 hours a day. Kahit na nung lumabas na siya sa Malacanang hanggang ngayon, bago siya na-aresto, 3 ang nurses na nagpapalit-palit yan. Every day yon. Tapos may 2 siyang security pag lumalabas. Kailangan naalalayan mo likod niya kasi natutumba eh. Eh doon lang makikita mo na talagang hindi po pwede itong mamanto.
What did, sino hong pinaka nakakausap niyo sa pamilya? Would it be
Hindi ba yung
Hanilet?
mga anak? Hindi, Hanilet. Hindi na nga niya nakakausap dahil pinagbawalan na, di ba?
What is the story there, sir? Bakit
Hindi ko alam.
pinagbawalan si
Ang alam
Hanilet?
ko, hindi ko alam actually kung ano, pero haka-haka lang na hindi sila nagkakasundo ng lawyer.
Attorney Kaufman. Okay. And sabi niyo nakakausap niyo po yung anak. I guess si Kitty ang nakakausap niyo po.
Hindi,
about it.
kaya ko nasabing alam kasi alam nila na pumunta ko noon. Di syempre, sabihin nila sa tatay nila.
Okay. What have they told you about his condition?
Kung ano yung sinasabi nila in public, na okay in the sense na nakikipag-usap sa kanila. Pero hindi naman yun ang kailangan mo sa trial eh. Kailangan ng iba yung trial. Kasi you have to help your lawyer. So when your lawyer asks you things, circumstances during your incumbency, especially in regard to this drug war, dapat alam mo mga sagot. Eh paano kung may cognitive decline siya? May problema nga. How can he defend himself?
Is the family saying that he has a cognitive impairment?
Hindi ko alam kung hindi ko pa naririnig sa kanila yun. Pero yun ang sinasabi ng abogado.
Yeah.
And I think he has personal knowledge kasi he confers with the client. So when he asks questions, kung hindi makasagot ang kliyente niya on certain circumstances surrounding the drug war, talagang magiging, paano ko pagtatanggol to?
Pending pa naman si unfit to stand trial na motion of the defense. That's still something we're awaiting.
Hindi, ang latest, Pinky, is that finally the ICC ordered mental and physical examination.
3 po sa kanila.
Dapat
Forensic psychiatry, neuropsychology and geriatric and behavioral neurology.
Noon pa dapat nga nila ginawa yun.
Yeah, and they're supposed to send their report by October 31, and the prosecution and the counsel for the victims are given 5 days to comment on this. And then, sir, we'll see from there. Well, Attorney Salvador Panelo, good to have you. Pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. That's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on PNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.